My brother sabotaged my startup and destroyed my dreams. Now, I've built $1 million empire alone, and they're begging me for help. I'm a 32-year-old guy who learned the hard way that blood isn't always thicker than water. Sometimes it's just a sticky mess that drags you down. 5 years ago, I was on top of the world, ready to launch my dream startup. Now, I'm even higher. But the view from up here is bittersweet when I think about the family I left behind. It all started with a simple idea. I'd always been the tech geek of the family, tinkering with computers since I could reach the keyboard. My older brother? He was the golden child, the charismatic one, the one who could charm the skin off a snake. Mom and Dad thought the sun shone out of his ass. Me? I was just the weird kid who spent too much time in his room. But I had a plan. I'd been working on a revolutionary app for small businesses, something that could streamline their operations and potentially save them thousands. It was my ticket out of my brother's shadow, my chance to prove that the quiet, nerdy kid could make it big too. The day I pitched my idea to my family is etched in my memory like a bad tattoo. We were all gathered around the dinner table, Mom's lasagna steaming in the center. I cleared my throat, heart pounding. I've got some news, I started, my voice shaking slightly. I'm starting my own company, an app for small businesses. I've got investors lined up and everything. The silence that followed was deafening. Then my brother let out a snort. You? Start a company? That's cute. I felt my face flush. It's not a joke. I've been working on this for months. It's going to be big. My dad leaned back in his chair, a skeptical look on his face. Son, running a business isn't like fixing computers in your bedroom. It takes real-world skills, people skills. Maybe you should reconsider. But I've done my research, I protested. I've got a solid business plan and… Honey, my mom interrupted, her voice sickeningly sweet. Why don't you work for your brother instead? He's always looking for good IT people at his firm. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Here I was, about to embark on the biggest adventure of my life. And they couldn't even fake enthusiasm. But I was determined. I'd show them. I'd show them all. The next few months were a whirlwind. I poured everything I had into my startup. Late nights, early mornings, countless cups of coffee. My social life, non-existent. My savings, dwindling. But I was making progress. The app was coming together and the initial feedback from beta testers was overwhelmingly positive. Then, just as things were starting to gain momentum, disaster struck. It was a regular Tuesday morning. I was at my favorite coffee shop, hunched over my laptop when my phone buzzed. It was an email from one of my biggest potential investors. My heart sank as I read it. We regret to inform you that we will be withdrawing our offer of investment. I couldn't believe it. This investor had been excited about my project just last week. What had changed? As I scrolled through the email, my confusion turned to horror. It has come to our attention that there are serious concerns about the viability and originality of your product. We've received information suggesting that key components of your app may be derived from existing software. My mind was reeling. This was impossible. Every line of code was original. Every idea my own. Who could have? And then it hit me. My brother. He was the only one who had access to my detailed business plan. The only one who knew the ins and outs of my app. I had shared everything with him, hoping to finally impress him, to finally earn his respect. I called him immediately, my hands shaking with rage. What did you do? I demanded as soon as he picked up. Whoa, little bro. What's with the hostility? His voice was calm, almost amused. Don't play dumb. You sabotaged my startup. You told my investors that I stole my ideas. Why? There was a pause, then a chuckle that sent chills down my spine. Oh, that. Well, you see, I couldn't let you embarrass the family with your little pipe dream. Besides, did you really think you could compete with me in the business world? I was just saving you from inevitable failure. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. My own brother, the person I'd looked up to my entire life, had deliberately destroyed my dreams. And for what? To protect his ego? To keep me in my place? You're dead to me, I whispered. my voice shaking with emotion. You and this whole toxic family. I'm done. I hung up before he could respond. Then, in a fit of rage and hurt, I did something I never thought I'd do. I packed a bag, emptied my bank account, and walked out of my apartment, leaving everything else behind. No note, no forwarding address. I was going to start over, somewhere far away from the poison that was my family. The next few years were tough. I moved to a new city, changed my name, and started from scratch. I took odd jobs, lived in crappy apartments, and slowly rebuilt my life and my dream. It wasn't easy, but every struggle, every setback, just fueled my determination. I was going to succeed, not just for myself, but to prove them all wrong. And succeed I did. 3 years after that fateful day, my app launched. It wasn't the same one I'd originally planned. This one was better, more innovative, more revolutionary. And it took off like a rocket. Within 6 months, we were the talk of the tech world. Within a year, we were valued at over $100 million. I should have been ecstatic. I had everything I'd ever dreamed of: success, recognition, financial security. But there was still a hole in my heart, a nagging voice in the back of my mind that wondered what my family would think if they could see me now. Then, on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, my past came knocking. Literally. I was in my office reviewing some contracts when my assistant buzzed in. "Sir, there's a family here to see you. They say they're your parents and brother." My blood ran cold. How had they found me? I'd been so careful, changing my name, keeping a low profile. But I guess money and success have a way of making you visible. For a moment, I considered telling my assistant to send them away. But curiosity got the better of me. I wanted to see their faces, to confront them with the success they never believed I could achieve. "Send them in," I said, my voice steady despite the turmoil in my gut. They walked in, and it was like looking at ghosts from my past. My mom, her hair grayer than I remembered. My dad, looking smaller somehow, less imposing. And my brother, his once confident swagger replaced by a nervous shuffle. "Son," my mom started, her voice trembling. "We've been looking for you for so long." I leaned back in my chair, keeping my face impassive. "Well, you found me. What do you want?" My brother stepped forward, a forced smile on his face. "Little bro, you've done amazing for yourself. We always knew you had it in you." I couldn't help but let out a bitter laugh. "Really? Is that why you sabotaged my first startup? To help me reach my full potential?" The room fell silent. My brother had the decency to look ashamed, but my parents just looked confused. "What are you talking about?" My dad asked. "Your brother would never do something like that." And just like that, I was that overlooked kid again. My words dismissed, my feelings invalidated. Some things never change. "Why are you really here?" I asked, cutting through the bullshit. My brother cleared his throat. "Well, you see, we're in a bit of financial trouble. My company, it's not doing so well. We thought, since you're doing so great, maybe you'd want to invest? Keep it in the family, you know?" I stared at them, incredulous. After everything they'd done, after years of no contact, this is why they sought me out? For money? Something inside me snapped. Years of pent-up anger, hurt, and resentment came pouring out. "Invest? In your company? The same company you used to belittle my dreams? The same company that's now failing because you don't have my ideas to steal anymore?" I stood up, my voice rising with every word. "You have some nerve coming here, asking for my help, when you couldn't even support me when I needed it most." My mom started to cry. My dad looked like he'd been slapped. But my brother just looked calculating, like he was trying to figure out how to turn this situation to his advantage. "Come on, bro," he said, his voice wheedling. "We're family. Family helps family, right? Water under the bridge and all that." I looked at him, really looked at him, and for the first time, I saw him clearly. The golden child, the favorite son, was nothing more than a manipulative, entitled bully who'd never faced a real challenge in his life. And in that moment, I made a decision that would define the rest of my life. I started to laugh. Not a happy laugh, but a cold, hard laugh that made them all take a step back. Family? I said, once I caught my breath. You want to talk about family? Okay, let's talk about family. Family is supposed to support you, believe in you, lift you up when you're down. What did you do? You tore me down at every opportunity. You sabotaged my dreams. You made me feel worthless. I turned to my parents. And you too? You stood by and let it happen. Hell, you encouraged it. Well, guess what? I don't need your kind of family anymore. I've built my own family. Friends, colleagues, people who believe in me and support me unconditionally. I walked around my desk, standing toe-to-toe with my brother. So no, I won't be investing in your failing company. I won't be giving you a single penny. In fact, I want you all to leave. Now, and don't ever try to contact me again. My brother's face contorted with rage. You ungrateful little shit, he spat. We made you who you are. You owe us. I smiled a cold, satisfied smile. No, brother. I owe you nothing. The person I am today, I made myself in spite of you, not because of you. Now get out of my office before I call security. They left. My mom in tears. My dad in shock and my brother seething with impotent rage. As the door closed behind them, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. I was free, truly free. In the years since that day, my company has continued to thrive. I've expanded into new markets, launched new products, made a name for myself in the tech world. But more importantly, I've built a life filled with genuine relationships, mutual respect, and unconditional support. Do I sometimes wonder about my family? Sure. It's hard to completely cut ties with your past. But then I remember that family isn't just about blood. It's about choice. It's about surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, who support your dreams, who lift you up instead of tearing you down. I chose to walk away from toxicity and build something better. And you know what? I've never looked back. So to my dear family, wherever you are, thanks for the life lessons. They were hard-earned, but they made me who I am today. And who I am is pretty damn awesome. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them. So please leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more stories like this one.